What's up, y'all? Welcome to my transhood. I am Asher. Sorry, I've been MIA for a while. I got sick, and then the holidays, and then I got sick again. So kind of fell off schedule, but it kind of gave me a moment and a chance to reset, reflect on some things, reset myself. I was kind of at a mental block too of what I wanted to talk about, and I had a plethora of topics, but none that really just spoke to me. So with that being said, I am so grateful that you are here, and I just want to express my gratitude to all those Fab Five who subscribed. Kind of boost my confidence a little bit. And those that have left comments, thank you so much. I think I responded to them all, and if not, I haven't been on here much, so I will do so if I have not. Again, just thank you for joining me, and this video is going to be a little bit different. It's something that's really just been present in my life, and something that I'm really trying to work on, and it's something that my spiritual mentor kind of talked to me about. And so the title of this is My Religion is Me. I know for some it might sound a little weird. I don't know. And don't mind the smoke. I just have some incense burning. So my religion is me. This is something that when I first met with my spiritual mentor, she just kept telling me throughout our session, you know what, Asher, you have to remember that you are the most important thing. And that's really hard for me to digest as someone who's a people pleaser, someone who tries to take care of others, who tries to give. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm important, but I have kids, I have a partner, I have animals, I have a job that I take care of patients. And she was like, yeah, but remember, if you are not pouring into yourself, if you are running dry, you don't have anything to give. I was like, oh, okay, so this uncomfortable concept is starting to become a little more comfortable, and I'm starting to see that by pouring into myself, by being aware of myself and my needs and taking care of myself, I'm able to take care of my kids better and be a better parent, be a better partner, be a better coworker, and just have more gratitude for everything that's been given to me. Sorry, still recovering. So your religion is you, and this doesn't take away from if you are a religious person or you're a spiritual person. This is kind of just the heart of, I feel like whatever religion or spirituality you follow, whatever your journey is, whether you do or whether you don't, this concept is not based on oh, I'm going to build an idol to myself and I'm just going to worship myself daily and I walk on water and I just being selfish. No. My religion is me means that you are devoted to taking care of yourself. You put yourself first in a sense that you don't let others cross those safe boundaries that you have put in place. Devotion to self is learning to love yourself exactly where you're at, have gratitude exactly where you're at, whether you're transitioning, whether you just came out as gay, bisexual, pansexual, lesbian, whatever it may be, queer. Excuse me. It's accepting that in yourself, loving that in yourself, and learning who you are. What are your wants and needs? What fills you up? What brings you joy? What makes you happy? What helps you get through the day, right? And it can be, for those people pleasers out there, I'm one of them, Um, for those that get so caught up in taking care of, whether it's a sick family member or taking care of their parents or taking care of their kids, taking care of their spouse, going through the day-to-day logistical, gotta work, gotta pay the bills, gotta put food on the table, gotta go get the food. Yeah, those are great. But it really does hit home when you're tired, when you just feel like, man, I got nothing left to give. And I was that type of person. That was a direct result of my trauma growing up, and something that, through healing my inner child, through healing myself, through stepping out and away from Christianity and into my spiritual walk, that was completely my own. I really have to and had to learn to love on myself, to pour into myself. Because when my spiritual mentor first told me, like, Asher, don't worry about what religion, what spirituality, what path. Your religion is you. You are the most important person right now, in this moment, in this time, in order to do all the things you want to do for other people, in order to make an impact in this world, in order to grow and to change and to reach your higher self. You have to meet yourself where you're at and learn who you are. And I realized, like, as much as I know myself, I don't. When I sat down, I was like, okay, what do I like to do? A lot of people's responses are like, oh, I like to work out. I like to, go for walks with my dog. I like to go out, hang out with my friends. I like to watch this show, which are all great things and all things that can pour into yourself. But what I'm talking about here, and what I believe she was mentioning, was sitting with yourself, figuring out what works for you, how you work through this life, how you move through this world, what doesn't work for you. Not just, oh, do I like, pepperoni pizza, or do I like cheese pizza? Do I like vanilla ice cream? Do I like strawberry ice cream? It's not so much those likes or dislikes. It's more, how do I receive love? How do I give love? What am I looking for in a partner? What do I want my day-to-day to look like? What are my goals in life? What did I enjoy doing as a child that I kind of forgot and don't do now, but that could be good at healing myself or pouring into myself? Coming out as trans, I felt like my whole world was just flipped upside down. As much as I knew it was right and knew this is who I am, and I was like, yes, like, I know who I am. Then set in the daily routine of, like, who am I? What am I doing here? I love my job as a nurse. I love the people that I work with, but I'm like, ooh, there's something more I want to do, in a community that I'm led to reach out to pour into. And then through that, I realized I'm not even pouring into myself. So everything that came out of my mouth, or everything that I was trying to do, kind of fell short, even though it came from a good place in my heart. And so with that, your religion is you. I'm going to keep saying that throughout. You have to take care of you first. And I think I mentioned this in my first video, talking about RuPaul's Drag Race, how he ends the show saying, like, if you can't love yourself, how the hell can you love anybody else? And that's the same thing. If you're not taking care of yourself, and I don't just mean you shower and feed yourself, those are basic, right? But on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, on a mental level, if you are not pouring into and taking care of yourself, you're going to find that joy is easily stripped away. You're going to find that you're kind of easily irritated. You're going to find that you'll have, like, this little high, and then you'll drop to have these lows. And that's pretty much like what I was noticing in my life. One thing that set me off course is what I thought was happening. I'm like, man, like, what am I even doing? Why am I even here? Like, what's going on? Is this really what I want to do? And I started questioning myself, started doubting myself. And I realized the more I started to pour into myself, the more I started to try to do meditations, the more I just sat with myself and really recognize that, like, my thoughts are not my own. Because when you think of, like, everything that you think of, granted, yes, they're your thoughts, but when I say your thoughts are not your own, it really means a lot of our self-talk, a lot of our thoughts that pop into our head, our habits, whether good or bad, we're conditioned from the moment we were born and brought into this world, right? So, like, my inability to sit down before, without having to, like, clean everything, I have to clean everything. I can't focus. I can't do this. And like, little things like that would trip me up. Negative self-talk for a long time was, you'll never be anything without your parents, or you can't lose weight or take care of your body without the help of your parents. You won't get an apartment on your own because you'll always be reliant on your parents. You're bad with money. I'm fat and it is what it is. And, this is who I am, but you're not really loving on yourself. You're not really taking care of your body. So all of those, like, negative self-talks that you have, a lot of those are conditioned. Society, I mean, you're scrolling through Instagram and you're getting so many things that you're not even aware of that seep into your brain. Society telling you boys do this, girls do this, and there's only two genders. A man and a woman are meant to be together, and that's it. If you are anything outside of that, you're wrong. Even knowing before accepting being trans and coming out as a lesbian, even though I knew this, I like women. Who can blame me, right? It was still in my head, like, you can't have a family because that's just not right. You're not doing what you're called to do, which is to, be fruitful and multiply and populate the earth. And then as I grew more comfortable and I came out as trans, it's still like, oh, but you don't have the genitalia, so you're not a man. Oh, you have breasts. Ugh, you're not a man. Excuse me. And those things still lingered, even though I was so confident in my transition, even though I was so confident in being with women, even though I was so confident in being a part of the LGBTQ community. There was still that little voice inside my head that was conditioned from my religious background, from my parents, from those I grew up in, and the type of schools that I went to. And so all of those things, sometimes you don't realize you don't have full control over your thoughts. And so by sitting with yourself and being more mindful and being aware of your thoughts throughout the day, can really help you realize, like, ooh, that negative thought popped in my head, like, that's not mine. I don't want it. I love my body the way I am and where it's at. Ooh, Asher, you have to get a bigger size pants. Like, see, you're fat, you're disgusting, you are unattractive. And I have to stop myself and be like, nah, like, I'm a sexy stud. All right, daddies are in. I'm I got a dad bod. I'm proud of it. And I just start hyping myself up. And so I realized like finding little things, because like I said at the beginning, like when I was told your religion is you need to figure out who you are, what you want, where you want to go, what you want your day to day to look like. I had to learn what it meant to pour into myself, you know? And a lot of things that I came up with originally was like, oh, those are my coping skills. Which coping skills aren't bad, but kind of using those coping skills and kind of elevating them to pour into yourself. So if your coping skills journaling, let's elevate it and talk about what you're journaling about. If your coping skill is going for a drive, that's mine. Okay, going for a drive with a purpose. Where are you driving to? What are you paying attention to? As you're driving and looking through nature and looking at people and just looking at the world around you, having gratitude and being aware of your surroundings. Oh, my workout, my coping skill is going to the gym. Another one of mine that I used to have, that like became a crutch, so I had to adjust that. But it's like, okay, when you're working out, like make sure you're not working out to be like, oh, I had a bite of pasta, or I had a cupcake, or I drank a venti white mocha at Starbucks, so I need to burn all this stuff off. Or is your focus in the gym, man, I love the way my body moves. Oh my gosh, I'm getting stronger. Or, oh, I want to work on that and get better at that. Man, I cut down on my mile time. Or, looking at your muscles in the mirror, being appreciative of your body and how it moves, and that you have the ability to move and to sweat and to put in that work and to feel that soreness and to feel your muscles grow. You know what nutrition's going into your body. So coping skills can be good, but bringing that awareness and that intention and that mindfulness to your coping skills and kind of elevating them so they do pour into yourself. So what some of mine, I'm going to go through them, just a few of them. One is cooking. I love to cook, and I don't mean just like the regular schmegular, like, oh, let me pop this in the microwave, or like, oh, let me make a quick breakfast, or got to get the kids off to school, got to feed the kids. It's when I take the time to be intentional with my cooking. So I'm, touching the vegetables, touching the fruit as I'm cutting them, and I'm just having gratitude in my heart and being mindful and being aware of the fact that I can afford this food and some can't. Having gratitude of where the food came from and those who picked it, those who grew it, and what nutrients come into it, and just creating new flavors and that's kind of my self-expression of art, and learning how to cook vegan recipes and vegetarian recipes. And maybe I light some incense, but I definitely always put on some music, that whatever I'm feeling in the mood for. That's a time where it's not verbalized, but my partner knows, like, oh, he's doing his thing. Let me make sure like the kids kind of like stay out of the kitchen and give him that space. And it's setting aside that time to where, yeah, you're doing something you need to do because you need to cook to feed your family or feed yourself or both. But it's bringing that awareness and bringing that intention and having that gratitude and that mindfulness while you're cooking, right? Another thing I started doing is journaling, which is not something I did. I remember growing up and like my friends had a journal, and I was like, oh, I want a diary. So dear diary, I don't know what I want to tell this piece of paper, right? And so journaling was just not my thing, and it's still not my thing. But when I talk about journaling, it's just I have a couple topics that I do in the morning and some that I do at night. And I'm not always writing them down. Sometimes it's just sitting on the edge of the bed, or sitting on the couch whichever space I'm in, or standing, or while I'm doing stuff, I have these topics that I discuss through my head that help. And sometimes I do write them down, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's a note on my phone. So whatever works for you, but something I just really wanted to share what I do when I journal is in the morning, the topics are gratitude and intention. So these are very important things. Like intention could be kind of like your goals, but gratitude is just starting off the morning on the right foot, right? Starting off that morning, having gratitude for another day, having gratitude for the home that you're in, having gratitude for the partner that you're sleeping next to, or having gratitude for your empty bed and being able to spread out and have your own covers that aren't stolen and set the temperature in the room how you like it and not how they like it. Maybe it's you woke up and your puppy or your cat was cuddling with you. Having gratitude for the sunrise. Man, having gratitude for the nature that's around you, gratitude for just the breath in your lungs and the body that you have, and what you're gonna do for that day. So gratitude has really helped me to like slow down and be more at peace and not be as grumpy in the morning as I usually am. Gratitude has kind of become my new cup of coffee. And the next thing is intention. So like I said, intentions could be your goals for the day, what you want to get done. Intention can be, this is the attitude I want to have, because I know for me, sometimes like going to work, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to work. I want to be at home. I want to be with my kids. I want to be with my spouse, or I want to do this thing, or I just don't want to be at work. Work is stressful. And so I have to tell myself, like, I'm going to have a good attitude at work. I'm going to have gratitude. I'm going to move with grace. I'm going to move with love. And I'm going to be intentional about how I lead my staff, how I talk to others, and how I want to pour into myself. Intention is looking at how you want to speak with your kids. How do you want to speak with yourself? Also with intention, I talk about to myself, like, okay, I want to be aware and be mindful of the thoughts that I have throughout the day, and to redirect the thoughts that aren't for me and do not lead me to my highest self. And then at the end of the day, in my journal or in my head or my phone or whatever, is reflect and reset. And I think it's both vital, right? So reflection is to sit down and kind of look at your day. I know for me, like, I really struggle sometimes with, like, I get short and easily irritated with my kids. And it has nothing to do with them, but has everything to do with me. And it's because there's something I'm unsatisfied with, or something from my inner child that needs to heal, that needs to be redirected. And then sometimes that turns into me being short with my partner, and then me being frustrated with the animals, and it just snowballs, right? And so when I reflect, I sit down, and this helps with the awareness for the next day. I reflect like, ooh, I got really short with my kids when this happened, or I got really short or irritated with my partner when this happened. And so it makes me think and be more mindful and aware of, like, okay, what are my triggers? Or, ooh, I didn't like that feeling, so what was it that sparked that? And I realize a lot, like I said, is just healing my inner child, and realizing that the things I didn't get growing up in my household from my parents are things that I feel deprived of. And so that manifests in, like, me wanting to cut my kids short, or, when we're out in public, it's like, be seen, not heard. And then I'll pause and be like, ooh, I don't like that. Like, I want my kids to be seen and to be heard. Like, say it with your chest, and I want to be gentle, and I don't want them to be afraid to tell me things. And so having that reflection gives me the time to realize, like, oh, these are my triggers. These are things I need to work on. These are things that need healing, right? And so also a part of reflection is, giving yourself a pat on the back for doing something that, maybe you did a meditation that just helped set your day. Maybe you realize like, ooh, I actually like really do like cooking, or I went to the gym today and this is what happened. Ooh, I really like that when I had this negative self-thought, this is what it was. I redirected it and turned it into something positive. And then reset gives you a chance to pour back into yourself just mentally, and more importantly, to have grace with yourself. And that's another important thing, because I'm like really type A. I really want to like get things right, and I want to be perfect, and I want to be the perfect parent, be the perfect partner, be the perfect nurse, be the perfect leader, not have anyone not like me. It's a lot of pressure. And so when you reset and realize like, yeah, I made some mistakes today, or this is what I could have done better, this is what worked, this is what didn't work, tell yourself like, hey, I didn't do it, but now I'm aware. And thank you for that awareness. And thank you, Asher, for taking the time to sit and have gratitude for yourself, show some self-love, and reset for the next day, because every day is a new day. And I joke at work, because sometimes like when I go in, especially on back-to-back nights, it's like, oh, how's your night? And it's like, oh, same shit, different day. And it kind of is, in terms of like the volume of patients, or the amount of work, or the shenanigans that's going on. But really, when you think about it, that next day, that's a whole new day to start a whole new chapter, a whole new adventure. Like, you can get up, pack your things, and move. You can, get up and go to a tattoo shop and get a tattoo. Like, it's a new day, another opportunity to grow, another opportunity to pour into yourself. So just because you might not get it right a couple days in a row, or a week, or a month, doesn't mean that life stops and just throw in the towel. No, sometimes you need those failures, you need those valleys, those dark valleys where you feel so alone, where you feel, discombobulated, where you feel cloudy, in order to appreciate the mountaintop, in order to appreciate the sunrise, in order to appreciate where you're at now and the awareness that you have. So bring that forward with you, and thank yourself for it, love yourself for it, and accept that new day. Like I said, these are just some things that I do to just pour back into myself, help bring some awareness. And like, for me, meditation is very hard. I feel like, oh, I'm just not doing it right. And I realize that there's no right or wrong way to really meditate if you're just sitting with yourself and pouring into yourself and being mindful and aware. And so to sit and to like listen to music and like on my way through, it's really hard. There's days it's good and days that I'm like, my mind is just, I'm thinking about all these things. I get distracted easily by my cats, my dog, my puppy, my kids, my spouse, or just like, oh, I got to do laundry. So one thing that was really helpful was I shower every day. I started to turn my meditations into like when I shower. And it was especially helpful, or now it's helpful, that I intentionally do that before I go to work. So sometimes I light some incense, I put on some music. Sometimes it's just music. Sometimes it's just me bringing that mindfulness and that awareness in the shower with me, right? And so I really like turning the lights off, leaving the door open, so I just have the natural light, or I have the light from the outside room, or I light a candle and I shut the door, depending on what vibe I'm needing. And as I'm showering, I'm loving on myself. I'm so grateful that I was able to have top surgery, and I'm proud of my scars. Being grateful for the hair that's growing, even though I wish it grew here, that's fine. The hair on my legs, like, I'm grateful for the muscles that I feel. I'm thankful for the running water that I have. And taking that time to just love every inch and every part of your body, and being still. And water, as cheesy as it may sound, it not only cleanses you physically, but that could be a like symbolic way to kind of just cleanse your spirit, to kind of cleanse your mind. So just imagine yourself in the shower as the water's running over you. It's just taking away that stress, it's taking away that burden, it's taking away that worry, and it's washing it down the drain and taking it far away from you. And that has been really, really helpful for me. And one way that I do get in my meditation and I do get in my me time, if things are just busy, or like I said, working night shift, it's really hard to coming off nights, sleeping during the day, getting up, showering, going back. It's like that's a time that I can kind of combine the two, right? And so you have to find just what works for you. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that the biggest thing you take away is that you are the most important person, okay? And you have every right to pour into yourself, to take care of yourself, to love yourself. So take some time, whether it's 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, to just sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do I need? What do I like? What pours into me? What can I do today or tonight to pour into myself and to love on myself? And remind yourself that regardless of spirituality, religion, your religion is you, and you are the most important person here. You are worthy of that love, that support, that grace. So even if, no one else supports you in your transition, you validate yourself, love yourself, and know that the universe will bring people into your life that need to be there for you. But you falling back and trying to shove yourself into someone else's box that they've created for you is not going to bring you joy. Life is too short to run yourself on E. Life is too short to deny yourself the opportunity to elevate your journey, to pour into yourself. When you pour into yourself and you love on yourself, there's just something that happens that, man, it doesn't matter what shenanigans goes on. You're happy. You're full of gratitude. And again, it's not perfect every day, but it's priceless. It truly, I can't say anything other than, tell yourself, my religion is me. I am the most important person. I am the one that I need to focus on. And I hope that maybe you do try that journaling. Let me know. Put it in the comments below if that like gratitude and intention in the morning helps you throughout your day, to bring that awareness and that mindfulness throughout your day, and to be more aware of your triggers so you can heal, so you can move forward, so you can grow. And then that reflect and reset and giving yourself grace and being more mindful and aware of how your day went. So how when you start that new day, you can create those new behaviors and there's those new patterns. I'm so proud of you and I'm grateful for you. Whoever joined me, whoever watched this video, I hope that it speaks to you, that it pours into you, and that there's something that you can take away. Thank you.